What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. You know the deal, like and sub, and let's get right into it. If you are an XRP holder, you are going to want to stick around for this one. CGI, you may have heard of them, one of the largest IT firms in the world. As we can see, CGI has been transforming the payments sector for more than 40 years. Now we see this all payments timeline below, and in 1973, I'm sure many of you are aware of this, they designed the SWIFT network for international transfers. Then you can follow along, and in 2016, they actually introduced the CGI All Payments Ripple connector. Why? Are they just supporting this ecosystem, or is there a greater plan for the future? Notice they re-architected and built the CGI All Payments for the cloud as well. We do know that RippleNet Cloud is also available. This is common. We're seeing many organizations future-proof for redundancy purposes and also just to have access. So it should be no surprise. We're moving towards a software world, a single, API type of world rather than just hardware. All right. So we're going to go over some specific numbers in this video, guys, and also all the links will be in the top of the video description. As I encourage you guys to continue doing your own research. So we know CGI, we're going to go over the figures. We know another RippleNet partner as well, ACI Worldwide, you can find right on their website. They send $14 trillion per day. That does include securities, just so you guys know, in transaction volume. And of course, we've shown in this channel, one of the gentlemen speaking at, doing a presentation, he said that ACI essentially sends $50 million as fast as you can consecutively snap your finger. So every time you snap your finger, a $50 million transaction is going over their network. So we know SWIFT, dinosaur technology, this is messaging. They have a correspondent banking network, and the monopoly that JP Morgan and a few other groups hold is ridiculous in the world of transaction banking. Ripple the company and XRP, the digital asset, in my opinion, the best asset positioned to solve this problem, is threatening that. And it is just simply a matter of time. All right. Also, Volante, another tech provider that we've gone over many times, even for the United States domestic, the clearinghouse, the trillions a day, and they have the Ripple processor module. I just think it's funny that you're seeing all these tech providers and IT firms that are connected and are future-proofing and have even, done proof of concepts with Ripple and many central banks years ago. So call me crazy, I think there's a greater plan and a rollout, and I think that exciting things are ahead, despite a lot of the FUD and of course the allegations with the SEC and the lawsuit. All right? Do I also think that the XRP ledger was built specifically to process trillions of dollars per day? Yes, obviously. All right? So we can go right here. Remember, this is Ripple's article in 2016 introducing CGI's Ripple-enabled intelligent gateway. Now, I remember watching this video. A lot of us on Twitter freaked out because Ripple finally removed the video or made it private, and we do not really know why. So I wonder if there's any hidden gems in this video. Maybe I'm just being a conspiracy theorist, but nonetheless, maybe there are NDAs involved, or maybe they just changed their plan altogether. So I'm not really sure. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, but just wanted to share that. All right. So just talking about Ripple's distributed financial tech. And back in the day, they didn't just say XRP Ledger, they just called a Ripple the entire suite of software, the whole company, everything that they can offer, all right? So remember, interoperability protocols like Interledger Protocol, IOP is with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and FYI, the gentleman that architected the SWIFT network, his name was Costa Peric. He is working for them with Mojaloop and working on banking the unbanked with Interledger Protocol that was created by Ripple. So pretty crazy, all right? It really is a small world. So we can go through this, one of the first solutions to integrate the Ripple technology. Interestingly enough, we can see this as well. The intelligent gateway is the beginning of a long and productive relationship with CGI. Talking about the Internet of Value, you get the gist, all right? So let's go over some numbers here. And this was just the CGI Advanced Blockchain adoption with implementation of a Ripple validator node. You guys can go through this. Links are in the top of the video description. Notice, agnostic, transformational wrapper around a client's payment processing systems. I was going through a lot of recent articles, and big thanks specifically to Damor Sahami, guys. You can follow him here at DAM00R, a very well-versed researcher in the XRP community. He sent me 2 documents today with CGI that I will go over as well. All right, so CGI, all payments, the intelligent gateway, we get all that. You can go through this, adopting APIs, 24/7, 365, data, liquidity thresholds. You get the gist. Now, DLT will definitely help mitigate and expedite a lot of this, reduce, costs for a lot of ecosystems. It's not going to solve everything, but the part that XRP is aiming to capture absolutely will, in my opinion, provided we get ample liquidity. Right here, CGI all payments. So we can see right here, CGI processes 40% of global foreign exchange settlement volume. You guys can go to the Swift network, go to continuous, link settlement, go look at how much they process per day. Trillions. We process more than 20% of Swift's payment transactions. What is Swift? 5, 6, even just a little more trillion per day. So 20% of that. Wow. CGI All Payments provides improved STP, straight through processing. We've been seeing that a lot lately. And CGI handles more than 35% of all US wire-based transaction volumes. 3 trillion to 5 trillion per day. So right there, being very conservative, and this is, I believe, this might be a recent document, but this is right here, 3 trillion on the low end per day. All right? Relationships with their top 10 banking clients globally, an average of 27 years. Obviously, they designed the Swift network, so go figure. All right? Also, right here, as a payment solution provider, CGI often must explain how we handle the migration from MT messages to ISO 2022. Now, something to note is there are some other mentions of the ISO 222. So I'm curious if this is just the MX message or if that's a typo. I'm sure someone, will be able to correct me. The ISO 222, remember, Ripple is the first and only DLT, Distributed Ledger Tech Group, to join the board. Why? You really think that this $10 billion valued fintech came out of nowhere, was meeting with the Federal Reserve within months of its creation, already had consultant-like roles for the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank? You really think this has just been a consultant-like role for that long? Or is there actually a chance that they may interoperate with some of these ecosystems and help them, whether it is central bank digital currencies, whether it is more on an enterprise level, bridging the gap, so to speak? Interesting. And this is why I'm excited in this ecosystem, guys. So we can talk about this ISO in high value and cross-border payments. Ripple, the company, we get it. Remittance, it's high volume, high frequency, very fast, which is awesome, but typically low value cross-border payments. We have other groups like R3. That's the big boy money. That's the Wall Street. That's the capital markets and trade finance. And we're seeing that across the board. So remember, focus on remittance, do that very well, maybe expand into lending, start doing some bigger payments, the flywheel effect. And as XRP becomes more valuable, it is in their best interest. It can send more value like a black hole, as I often say. All right? This is just simple tokenomics for the XRP specifically. As it becomes a higher value, $5, $10, etc., the sky's the limit, whatever you want to use, it can send higher value. And then those trillions of dollars eventually may have a cheaper way to be sent. Sometimes, maybe Swift GPI or Xcurrent or something else might be the best option. But when everything becomes more liquid and these illiquid corridors become more liquid, the option to choose pre-validated transactions and understand the payment path it'll go is going to be a no-brainer, guys. And to be honest, I can't believe it's taken 40 to 50 years to do this, and it is happening now, despite what many think. Do not be one of those fools that just looks at current price, that reads news at face value, and just thinks that, oh, yeah, Ripple, or this is a scam, is this, and the SEC is going to ruin it. You're being fed. So you guys can question it. You don't have to, believe me. I encourage everybody to disagree with certain things, but just question it and look at it, a different view, I suppose. All right? For the last 40 years, etc. Also, founded in 76, among the largest IT and business consulting service firms in the world. You can also see Nostro liquidity management features. So I'm curious, what type of analytics and insight this can provide. I'm very, very curious. And I think that, Ripple and all these groups have been working together to really just provide a better service for their banking clients. Money is very inefficient. Trillions of dollars sitting, doing nothing, just like that GIF I showed you the other day. It's doing nothing. When this capital is released, what do you think's going to happen? They're going to be looking to create additional revenue streams as a typical business, whether it's investing to, expand new locations or whatever. And we can see the brick and mortar businesses, yes, they're here to stay. I'm not an idiot. What I'm saying is that cloud banking, mobile app banking is going to be on the rise. Specifically because this pandemic is another reason why technology has been increasing, because we're home, we're in isolation, so we still need to have better connectivity, and value is transforming as well. And honestly, was that ISO that 2000, was that a typo earlier? Because I've only ever seen really ISO 222. I've seen the QNT one, TC 307 from a couple years ago. There's a few ISOs, essentially just messaging, but I'm kind of curious if that was an actual typo. All right, so ISO native. Platform combines a powerful message routing and payment processing engine with advanced analytics, processing, and liquidity monitoring features. All of these elements work together to increase efficiency, streamline straight-through processing, and reduce transaction costs. Interesting, right? Talking about the gateways, we can go through that. A lot of the messaging, most of this doesn't have anything to do with, Ripple's role, but I just want to show you, what they're focusing on, and let alone just remember 3 to 5 trillion right there. All right. Next, we already went over this, I believe, in the past, but I just want to kind of, rephrase this. So we know Chris Larsen, executive chairman of Ripple, has emphasized this, guys. For those that call XRP a scam, I don't comprehend it. It seems like you guys just read one article instead of doing your own research. And, that's the typical person. And that's why XRP is the black sheep of crypto. And I'm always the biggest fan of the underdog, specifically when its technology is superior to every other's. Also, XRP, the digital asset, is one of the few that has been and is in live production and has already done over $2 billion with a B. Keep in mind, if I was going to count 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000 to 1 million, it would take me just over 11 days. If I was going to count to 1 billion with a B rather than an M, it would take, I believe, over 30 years. That's how the math comes out. To count to 1 trillion, I believe it's just over 30,000 years. That is absolutely astounding to consider, and typically every asset that surpasses even a market capitalization of 1 billion is here to stay, and we're past that tenfold. Just sharing. Also, remember last year, February, in a single week, Ripple reveals $54 million in XRP remittances. Specific use case between the US dollar and the Mexican peso corridor were sent. So this is utility, guys. Please just keep that in mind. If you don't want to go to the dot connecting, that's fine. You don't have to get conspiratorial. But when you stick to the facts alone, it's pretty obvious that you have a game-changing technology in front of your face. And then you can look at some of the investors of Digital Currency Group and some of the people that are backed by, some very wealthy organizations. We've gone over them. I just believe that you have to, you can follow the money, but you can also beat the money too. So the smart institutional money, it's there, it's been there. But what we are waiting on, ideally in a speculative market still, is when utility drives this market, it will be a very different landscape. The crypto market cap of 1 trillion will go to 50 trillion. The global stock market is already at or hit 100 trillion. Please, those assets are going to be tokenized and interoperate with these other ecosystems. Ethereum is programmable money. Now we have Flare networks launching and working in this year, Q1, Q2. And I am betting big that Flare networks may tie in with RippleNet, the software suite of Ripple, and will be very complementary technologies that would drive much further demand for XRP in regards to freeing value and leveling the playing field, guys. This is revolutionary technology. And just remember, a lot of us are following through, doing our research, watching this window of, manipulation and boredom and, the lawsuit going back and forth. Do you know how many times I've seen XRP bounce between 20 or 30 cents over the past few years? It is exhausting, but I stick to the research. While I'm waiting, of course I'm trading, I'm an active trader, but when I'm waiting, what do? I sharpen my sword. I level up my knowledge in this space, all right? And hopefully, you guys do that too. I'm sure there's plenty of other assets. I hold a good 20 or 30 digital assets, but to me, XRP still has the most sound fundamentals, all right? So we'll just speed through 2 other points, then we'll call it a day. So Bitpanda launches debit card that lets users spend fiat, crypto, and precious metals. We're seeing more and more of these cards. I know you guys can get on the waiting list for uphold.com. And by the way, they're one of the few exchanges that is keeping XRP trading live. Uphold.com. Definitely recommend them, guys, as they are supporting the XRP ecosystem. And I love their CEO. He just tells it like it is. Also, we're going to see more cards. I know Coinbase has one, Binance, a lot of them. So pretty cool, good and great. I'm not looking to spend my crypto by any means, right now in the past few years, just accumulating. All right, and then last but not least, so BlackRock files to add Bitcoin futures to the funds. These groups smell the money and now betting on derivative-like products, futures, swaps, options. Going over this, they can make a lot of money as well. I know trading bots and AI software, machine learning is very, very smart. How can I beat them? Well, sometimes I do scalp trading. Other times I will just do some basic TA and play the support and resistance with some fractal analysis. But another way is by outweighting them. Typically, long-term investors that just simply buy and hold their dollar cost average a little bit each month and wait will beat out the majority of investors and traders. Keep that in mind. Remember, Amazon stock, it trended sideways for years and then exploded. Tesla and Amazon were both sued by the SEC. We knew those other cryptos that were sued by the SEC as well. They get a slap on the wrist, they pay their fines, and what happened? To like Kin, 2,000% up. And that is just one of several examples, guys. All right? So filings, Bitcoin investments, we all know BlackRock. We know that even Robbie Mitchnick was formerly briefly at Ripple, and he's head of blockchain for BlackRock, speaking very highly of XRP, saying it's one of the most obvious digital asset use cases right now, not in 10 years, now. And that is why I'm confident in this ecosystem. One of the largest custodians with 7.8 trillion. Remember the CEO? What is his name? Larry Fink, maybe? Don't quote me on that, but he went on the news and we showed it before, him literally describing, he called it something like a Facebook Libra. He doesn't want Facebook Libra to win, guys. He was describing XRP as that bridge currency between assets. All the world is the stage, or is a stage. Please pay attention to that. And I'm just going to share one quote before we call it a day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you make people think that they're thinking, they will love you. But if you really make them think, they'll hate you. See you in the next one.